All right, now back to football, and we talked about the Kevin Stefanski dominance over Cincinnati. Is he 6-1 in his career? What is the record?
5-1, I think.
5-1. No, 6-1.
No, there has to be
6-1 now.
So what's crazy to me, guys?
Yeah.
He is 6-1 against a team. All but one of those years was considered a yardstick team in the AFC. So he's 6-1 against the Bengals, but against everyone else, he's 21-23. And it's the reverse of your Burrow stat.
Yeah.
About how since he's been there, the Bengals either won or lost by 3 90% of their games. They get blown out by Stefanski and the Browns. You know Stefanski as well as anyone here. You know what he does week in and week out. What the hell is he doing differently against this team that makes it not just hard for the Bengals to win, but the Browns are winning walk-away games?
I don't know. No, you know what?
I don't either.
I don't want to put too much credit on this, but I think it's worth acknowledging. Alex Van Pelt has intimate knowledge of the Bengals. He came from Cincinnati, so I think he has a pretty good understanding and feel of how they do things.
But did he work there with Zach Taylor?
I believe he was.
Okay.
Yeah, at least for a little while. So now does that? What year did Zach Taylor get to Cincinnati?
I think they got. Didn't they get there the same time?
Taylor was the year before, wasn't he?
Oh, was he? I thought they got there the same year. I could be wrong.
Kevin was
No, this is his 5th year. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
Fifth year, yeah.
So I think he has a little bit of knowledge, and again, that doesn't explain all of this. I think it
No,
pulls,
because the real dominance has been defense.
yeah, I think it pulls back the curtain a little bit on what they like to do. Well, it would explain,
Oh,
how
I see. Yeah,
Cincinnati
I see what
attacks
you're
the
saying.
ball.
Yeah.
But that's not the whole. Let's give credit. Let's not give Alex Van Pelt all the credit for that.
Sure.
But I do think it's just a little morsel to add into
No,
this.
absolutely. I think it factors in.
And
I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah, but I mean, otherwise, it's it could just be one of these strange anomalies that there really is no great explanation for it, because in the grand scheme of things, it is still a small sample size. It's getting bigger, and it keeps happening. But when you talk about a number of games in some of these other seasons as compared to 8 games that we're talking about here, there is no great explanation for it, other than I think it goes back to what, Bull, you were saying. At least with this version, the Browns now have 3 great cover corners to match up with their 3 great receivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at the thing, I didn't actually take this domination very seriously until after this game. Because to me, it was, in the games that mattered, it was Browns 2, Bengals 1, and the Bengals won the last one.
Well, let's point this out, too.
Yeah.
6-1, 4 different quarterbacks.
Yeah, I was just going to say, by the way, Baker played out of his mind against Cincinnati.
Baker beat them.
That's why it's
Brissett beat them.
Right.
Last year, it was
Keenum.
Case Keenum beat them, and now finally.
But from my perspective, the first 2 I didn't care about because the Bengals were awful, the Browns were good that year.
Sure.
And then the second one in 21, the Bengals played their backups. It was all bench players.
Right.
So I didn't care about that. So it was 1 game in 21, and then they split last year. So I'm like, to me, in the games that really,
But
it was 2-1.
last year, the Halloween game was very reminiscent of this one.
Right.
Yes.
But it was still 2-1. But I thought 2-1 for me wasn't enough.
I got
but now it's 3-1, and now it's 3 blowouts. And I'm like, this is crazy. There is
What are
definitely
you
something
seeing
to
from
it.
your end as a Bengals fan? What are they doing that other teams are not? Because you watch every Bengals snap.
The Bengals play with a swagger and confidence. They still talked it. Well, Jamar Chase doesn't. He sounds like an idiot. He needs to shut up. And he's a great player, but he needs to shut up. It's enough. I know he was trying to be, in a way, self-deprecating the way he said it yesterday.
Trying to take the L.
He was trying to take the L, but just let it go.
Yeah.
He was trying to give them credit,
Well,
but
he doubled down on the Elves comment.
Yeah, but he was making fun of himself in a way.
Yeah.
But
I know, but
it didn't come out right, and he sounded like an idiot, so just shut the hell up.
Yeah.
The Bengals play with a swagger and confidence against everybody else that they don't, for some reason, they don't have. Even when the Bengals beat the Browns last year in that second game, I don't remember, it was December, but I don't remember the exact date. I didn't think the Bengals played that well in that game, even the one they won. I can't explain it. And if you had been in a coma and had only been awake for the Bengals playing the Browns for the last 3 years, just the last 3 years, and I said, well, the Bengals have been to the Super Bowl in the AFC Championship. You'd be like, that's crazy. This team's awful.
Sure.
Because they look like a horrendous team against the Browns. There's just something, styles make fights, right? We talk about this all the time.
That's true.
And just like the Bengals have had the Chiefs number, right? Now, they haven't blown them out, but they had won all the games until last year in the AFC Championship game. And Patrick Mahomes had not looked great against the Bengals until that second game last year. And for whatever reason, Joe Burrow just looks lost in the soup every time he plays the Browns.
Now, Myles Garrett loves playing against Joe Burrow. I think that doesn't he have
10 sacks.
10 sacks in now 7 games? Or the last?
3, 2, 4, 5, 6 games.
Well, you just look at
10 sacks in 6 games.
Just take a look at the roster, and you can see that, James Rapine said, I just think it's a bad matchup for the Bengals. I wasn't going to say it this game, but after watching this game, it's a bad matchup. They have 3 really good corners, and Jason kind of said that. The Browns have 2 really good defensive ends, but you can look at it, they probably have the best defensive end in the game. So you automatically can gauge and say, well, look, before we could bring, 4 and still get pressure because we got Myles Garrett.
Sure.
And you're able to keep guys in the back end. When you play the Kansas City Chiefs, Chris Jones is really good up front. But there's a lot of times where the Chiefs have to bring more pressure to get to, Mahomes, and that leaves, to Joe Burrow, and that leaves them one-on-one. I hope people understand this. The Bengals make contested catches better than any team in the league. Like, if you get one-on-one coverage with either T. Higgins or Jamar Chase,
they both win those balls.
That's 40, 50 yards. And think about it. Even if it ain't 40 or 50 yards, what are the chances of you not falling, not getting dunked on because they went up and made a crazy catch, or not having pass interference?
Sure.
They get lots of yards that way. But the Browns can keep people back in the back end. And on top of it, they have a running game where it's difficult.
In the end, it's just weird because the Bengals have played teams with better defenses in the past couple of years, and yet the Browns have played it well. I can't. It's really hard to explain in the end. I don't know, but Stefanski's got to find a way to translate this to
other teams.